So you already know कि what surveys are और हम उनको कहाँ इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं as a method and what outcomes do they give. It's important to know कि एक survey process overall कितने it constitute how many steps. So you need to understand that कि सर्वे कंडक्ट करने के लिए कंडक्शन इज़ द इजी पार्ट कि जब आप जाएं और अपनी पॉपुलेशन में से सैंपल ड्रॉ किया हुआ उसमें से लोगों को सर्वे क्वेश्चन दें और उनसे पूछें and then you analyze the survey. That is the easy part, which is the conduction. जो main या meat part of a survey research method in answering your research question is the planning phase. And ये बड़ा भी होता है और होना भी चाहिए और it is one of the most important part in your overall research. क्यों? क्योंकि if you do not plan well, तो once you're conducting the survey, तो उस वक्त when you find out कि there's something wrong with any of the factors जो कि any of the steps जो मैं क्या अभी आपको बताऊंगी, then you cannot while you're conducting it, तो उस वक्त जाकर आप उसे change नहीं कर सकते. It becomes really difficult when you're conducting a survey कि उस वक्त जाकर आप उसको किसी भी चीज़ को change कर सको. So it's all the more reasons कि planning should be well thought of और उसके अंदर जो है ना आपने टाइम लगाना है and you have to follow all the steps जो कि एक सर्वे प्रोसेस के अंदर होते हैं. तो सर्वे प्रोसेस नंबर 1 एज एनी रिसर्च मेथड के अंदर होता है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू डिजाइन योर रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. योर रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स विल देन विल एक्चुअली आगे डिक्टेट करेंगे कि आपका बाकी स्टेप्स कैसे हों. सो वंस यू हैव डिफाइंड योर रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, जो अदर स्टेप्स हैं दे आर नॉट सिक्वेंशियल इन नेचर. वो आप किसी तरीके से भी अपनी प्लानिंग कर सकते हो. सो व्हेन आई से फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड, दैट डजंट रियली मीन कि इसी तरह से ही वो दे शुड बी क्रोनोलॉजिकली आप उनको फॉलो करोगे. सो आफ्टर रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आपने डिफाइन कर लिए, तो जो दूसरा स्टेप है दैट हैज़ टू बी choosing of a collection mode. तो depending upon your scope of the survey या आप किस चीज़ को understand करना चाह रहे हो, किस phenomena को understand करना चाह रहे हो, there you might come across many ways in which you can collect that data or collect that information. So you have, as per your objective and as per your scope of your study, आपने वो collection, you have to choose that collection mode. And second जो चीज़ आती है, that is the sort of question that you will be asking in order to understand that phenomena. So questionnaire development या questionnaire construction is one of the most, if the most important part of the survey. देखें, अगर आपने कोई phenomena understand कर रहे हैं, उसके results will only be as good as कि जो आपने उनके सवाल पूछे हैं. देखें, you're gathering information. तो अगर सवाल ही आप properly put up नहीं कर रहे, तो जवाब भी आपको, job will not do anything if your question is incorrect. So questionnaire construction is part of a planning phase, और इसके अंदर सही time you should a research student should give it due time and due importance in the planning phase. And once you have constructed your questions, your questions आपने develop कर लिए to understand the phenomena, तो उसको before you go and conduct the survey as per actual research, उससे पहले you have to test them for a number of factors. कि उसका time जो आपने दिया है वो ठीक है, लोगों को सही सर्वे समझ आ रहा है, उसके सर्वे के सवाल समझ आ रहे हैं, and some other things that you need to test. इसके अलावा since I already told you कि आपका जो when a survey is concerned, तो आप किसी population में से sample draw करते हैं and from that sample you get a quantitative measure, और वो quantitative measure जो है वो आपको outcome दे रहा होता है of your research question. ठीक है, it is an answer to your research question, and जो findings आपकी research by answering that research question, and that will be generalized to the population. Although आपने सवालात पूछे हैं या survey conduct किया है on that sample, on put some entities, not all entities of that population, लेकिन जो आपका results हैं that will be generalizable to the population. So that means कि व्हेन इट कम्स टू सैम्पलिंग, वो सिर्फ रैंडमली सैम्पल नहीं है या हैपहैज़र्डली आपने सैम्पलिंग नहीं करनी है, बल्कि यू हैव टू हैव अ सैम्पलिंग फ्रेम जिसके थ्रू आप कह सकते हो कि इधर से हमने सैम्पल लिया है, एंड यू हैव टू choose an appropriate sampling strategy in order to say कि आपकी जो findings हैं वो वाकई में representative of the population है. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's take an example कि जो when we talked about कि you're interested in understanding your restaurant's food quality, ठीक है, तो आपने कहा किया कि रावलपिंडी और इस्लामाबाद में जितने भी लोग हैं उनको आपका रेस्टोरेंट का फूड कैसा लगता है. तो if you do not properly choose a sample, so the result that you get out of this research is not going to be the correct research. वो answers आपके वैसे research questions के गलत होंगे. For instance, आपने पूछ लिया just randomly सिर्फ उन लोगों से जो कि under teenagers हैं, तो it is not representative of the population, क्योंकि पॉपुलेशन क्या है? वो सारे लोग जो आपके रेस्टोरेंट में आते हैं, या रावलपिंडी इस्लामाबाद के लोग जो आपके रेस्टोरेंट में आते हैं. आपके रेस्टोरेंट्स में सिर्फ टीनेजर्स नहीं आते, बल्कि ऑल सॉर्ट ऑफ पीपल फ्रॉम ऑल एज ग्रुप्स कम, राइट. सो योर सैम्पलिंग स्ट्रेटजी बी सच दैट कि जो सैम्पल आप ड्रॉ करें वो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हो, कि उसके अंदर सिर्फ टीनेजर्स ना हो, बल्कि इट शुड कंप्राइज ऑफ all the age groups. So that is one of the ways you can understand why sampling strategy and the quality that your sample should be representative of the population वो important है, right. So this all comes in the planning phase कि आपने research objective किए, define किए, collection mode choose किया, sampling frame choose किया, questionnaire construct properly किया, and you pre-tested it, and then you chose or you design your appropriate sampling strategy. So this comes all in planning phase, ठीक है. तो in after your plan, then जो conduction phase है, that is like you actually go into the field और आप रिक्रूट करें जो लोग जो सैम्पल में आपके शामिल हैं, एंड देन you give them the questionnaire, और क्वेश्चनर उनसे पूछें और फिर उसको कोड करें और एडिट करें अपना डाटा, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन के you assign codes to the question, the answer to the question जो आपने पूछे हुए हैं, and then maybe you do some cleaning of that data that you've collected, and then you do the analysis. And this session will be more towards the planning phase. हम लोग we'll be talking about defining research objectives, collection mode, sampling frame, questionnaire construction and design, and selection of the sample. And the rest बाकी जो दूसरे sessions हैं, we'll be talking more in detail about the analysis part. So let's start with the first step in our survey process, which is define research objectives. All right, so first of all, just setting of an objective as it is done in almost every research, irrespective of the research method used. So आपका जो setup of our objective है, you can do that by simply writing a statement कि आपकी expected outcome of the survey क्या हो सकते हैं, or it could be a question, a research question जो कि your survey is going to, or it is intended to answer. So example could be maybe you as a software developer has developed a front end development tool, और आपका research objective क्या है, आपने survey conduct करना है, और आपका objective क्या है कि आपने उस front end development tool के the most useful features हैं वो identify करने हैं. So this is one of the objective, and you can use survey research method to answer or to achieve this objective, or to answer the research question जो कि इस research objective के साथ जो है ना associated होगा. Normally when you are conducting survey, तो 3 तरह के आपके objectives हो सकते हैं आपकी research के. Of course, as I told you earlier, कि either it could be understanding a rate or a frequency of some characteristic जो कि आपकी population में occur करती है, right? I told you कि surveys क्यों करते हैं, to to characterize some population उनके बिहेवियर्स जानने के लिए, एटीट्यूड जानने के लिए, या फिर उनके ओपिनियंस जानने के लिए. तो मे बी वन टाइप ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिव यू कुड बी कि किसी की फ्रिक्वेंसी क्या है, रेट क्या है of a particular attitude या particular opinion or a particular behavior या of some characteristic. तो second objective क्या हो सकता है कि maybe when it comes to assessing the frequency or rate of some characteristic of a phenomena that occurs in a population. So you're trying to assess the severity of some characteristic, yeah, severity of an opinion, yeah, severity of a behavior or an attitude. So another objective could be the severity of some characteristics. Or the third objective हो सकता है for survey based research, that is to that can be that is a little bit deeper, कि just rather than just relying on the rate and frequencies and severities, you trying to understand the relationship between two variables, which is कि आप कोई ऐसा factor identify कर रहे हैं, कोई ऐसे antecedents identify कर रहे हैं जो कि किसी characteristic या condition को influence कर रहा है, meaning that you're trying to find a relationship between some factor and the phenomena that you're trying to research in a particular population. So example देख लेते हैं. For the first objective, where you're evaluating the rate or frequency of some characteristic, वो ये हो सकती है कि maybe you're understanding what is the frequency of failing projects in Pakistan. तो आप सर्वे करना चाह रहे हैं software houses में to understand कि rate क्या है या frequency क्या है, कितने projects हैं जो कि software projects हैं जो कि fail होते हैं. For the second, in which you're trying to assess the severity of some characteristics or a condition, वो ये हो सकता है कि severity क्या है कि you're trying to find out not just the frequency बल्कि average overrun of the software projects. Or another could be another example could be what is the severity of cyberbullying victimization in the universities in Pakistan. Or जो third objective है, that is an example of the example of a survey could be कि आप वो वाले factors identify कर रहे हैं जो कि किसी भी process of improvement activity के अंदर जो है ना they predispose that activity towards a failure or towards a success. So here you see this कि यहाँ पर कोई frequency उस factor की नहीं हम लोग understand कर रहे हैं. We're not trying to gauge the severity of that factor, बल्कि rather we're trying to understand कि is there a relationship between a particular factor and a success of a process improvement activity or not. So these three objectives these three types of objectives that can be set when you're trying to do a survey based research. And of course the most important part, before you go and do your research using a survey method, you need to understand and you need to establish that कि आपका survey method ही appropriate है to carry out to achieve these objective or to answer those research questions जो कि आपने pose किए हैं. And of course you should be keeping that in mind कि are there more variables, a lot of hypotheses that you're testing in order to ensure that survey research method appropriate hai to carry out this research objective, to achieve this research objective and answer those research questions जो कि आपने pose किया है. So let's take an example, multiple examples of some of the researches done using survey method. तो ये एक study है, components of software development risk and how to address them, a project manager survey. So here the aim of the study was that we investigate the impact of risk management practices on software development. तो उन्होंने इस तरह अपना research जो objective है वो set किया, and they also established research questions. उनका पहला research question था कि what are the components of software development risk and what risk management practices and environmental contingencies help to address those components. तो दो उन्होंने research questions बनाए. So that means against these research questions they did, they had a survey, and that survey allowed them to understand कि रिस्क मैनेजमेंट जो प्रैक्टिसेस है उनका इम्पैक्ट सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर क्या होता है. Here you need to understand कि this particular example, this particular जो study थी, that was exploratory in nature. Why? Because इसके अंदर कोई hypothesis को टेस्ट नहीं किया जा रहा था, बल्कि rather they were trying to find out कि वो कौन से components हैं जो कि और या कौन सी risk management practices हैं जो कि सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट रिस्क को जो है ना एड्रेस करती हैं. Why? Because there wasn't any well established theory या research model exist नहीं करता था through which they could actually try to understand the relationship between multiple variables. Over here they were just trying to understand वो उनकी frequencies या severity क्या थी. इसी तरह another example is from this study, which is prevalence of cyberbullying victimization among Pakistani youth. This is a study which is I myself one of the authors of. और of this study इसका aim क्या था कि we measure the cyberbullying victimization among university students in Pakistan. Or accordingly, the research questions, although you wouldn't find these particular research questions in the paper itself, लेकिन the research questions which were being answered in the study, कुछ उसमें से मैंने लिखे हैं, not all, कि जो state of cyberbullying victimization among university student in Pakistan वो क्या है. और another question was कि कुछ difference exist करता है cyberbullying victimization में when it comes to males and females, when it comes to age group, या when it comes to those areas जहाँ पे ज़्यादा poor areas हैं, या फिर वो जो गाँव में रहते हैं या शहरों में रहते हैं. तो in order to understand the cyberbullying victimization phenomena, these research questions were posed and they were answered by making use of survey method. अच्छा, ये study भी exploratory in nature है. Why? Because as such no theory या research model exist नहीं करता था through which they could explain in depth. Rather, they just focused on differences in terms of simple demographics, variable like gender, age, and poverty, and urban and rural area of living. इसी तरह third example is from this study, which is I myself is one of the author of, and which is social media users and cybersecurity awareness, predicting self-disclosure using a hybrid artificial intelligence approach. So over in this study, the aim of the research was this study aims to investigate the cybersecurity awareness manifested as protective behavior to explain self-disclosure in a social networking site. And the research question जो pose हुआ था, although it's not explicitly stated in the study itself, but this is what we were looking for, कि what factors influence disclosure of information in social networking sites. So over here a little bit of background कि social networking sites में for example Facebook हो गया या फिर some other networking site हो गई, तो लोग जो हैं वो they disclose their personal information. Maybe they're trying to upload pictures जो कि associated with their birthday parties, या फिर वो बता रहे हैं कि वो किस यूनिवर्सिटी को बिलोंग करते हैं या डे टू डे लाइफ में जो उनके साथ हो रहा है वो डिस्क्लोज कर रहा है इन्फॉर्मेशन, which is not a good thing. क्योंकि it exposes those individuals to cybersecurity risks. Maybe people can come up and they can know about you, और वो जो है ना using your profile वो काफ़ी information आपके बारे में ले सकते हैं. They can use that information to for their cyber criminal activities. So what we were interested in कि वो क्या अगर somebody who's aware about the cyber security और practices के बारे में aware है, तो क्या this awareness does it influence their behavior in terms of self disclosure. यानी कि जो we were trying to understand कि जो ज़्यादा cyber security awareness रखते हैं, क्या वो ज़्यादा self disclose करते हैं कम सेल्फ डिस्क्लोजर करते हैं ऑन दो social networking sites. So this was the objective of this study, and we answered this research question via using a survey research method कि हम लोगों ने questionnaire बनाया या adopt किया, और वो उसके through using that data from that questionnaire we run some statistical tests, and we were able to answer this research question in terms of कि वो क्या वो वाले factors हैं ये cyber security awareness fact as a factor, does it influence the information self disclosure information on social networking sites या नहीं. And this is an example of the third type of objective जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि in which you're trying to understand the relationship between variables. So this study was explanatory in nature क्योंकि over here we tested some hypotheses and we established a relationship between जो factors यहाँ पर हैं the factors that we were interested in, that was cybersecurity awareness, demographics, and frequency of internet access, और उसकी relationship हम लोग देखना चाह रहे थे with self-disclosure. So this is how you before you carry on your survey, the first step is setting up the objectives, which can either be in terms of your aims and or it could be your research questions जो कि आप pose कर रहे हो.